I get people doing embroidery and trying embroidery and getting past that. I can't do it. I didn't do needlework at school. I can't do any of it. It won't look good enough. And just trying to break it down so people start embroidery and understand the well-being benefits of it by actually experiencing it. So doing some stitching to relax you, it reduces your stress levels, it engages reward center in your brain, and the learning something new is brilliant for sustained brain health. So I do that through kits, which I sell through my website and various shops in and around Nottingham where I am. That's growing. And I teach in-person classes.
You mentioned about the mindful stitching and the well-being aspect of embroidery. Is that something that you've experienced for yourself?
Yes, I live with chronic pain and chronic fatigue due to a condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And I've spent a lot of time in the past 20 years stuck in the house with my feet up. Literally, it sounds like I'm wrestling, but no, literally, I can't go and do things. And it can be so frustrating. And embroidery's helped keep me on an even keel whilst I'm doing that. It's really helped my mental health because I feel productive when I'm doing it. I don't feel like I'm just wasting time on waiting for everyone to come do things with me. I get lost in my stitching. I do the majority of my sewing in front of the telly. In the evenings, I've designed my mindful stitching concept and kits so you can just pick it up and do it in front of the telly. There are no complicated instructions. There's no silence needed. You can do it around life happening, but it means that you're doing something productive and beneficial with your hands and engaging your brain rather than scrolling on your phone constantly or drinking that glass of wine or G&T. You get the relaxation that you would do from a glass of wine, but without the negative effects from it. There's no right or wrong way. What I find is adults tend to be like, I won't do it. Especially a lot of my contemporaries are like, they don't want to do it unless it's going to look like it would on the box. But if you've just starting, it's not going to look like it would on the box. You've got to practice to get to that stage. And we can all learn something from how children learn. I teach school clubs and, some kids do some dog's dinners of backstitch and it's not straight at all and there are big gaps, but they're really pleased because they've learnt something new. And we all need to remember that it's not going to be perfect unless you practice, but just get started. Because self-care, I'm a great believer in self-care needs to be lots of little things every day, every week, not a big spa day once a year. If you see what I mean, self-care is using the nice moisturiser, it's doing the embroidery that you enjoy, it's being creative, it's doing the lots of little things every day rather than necessarily a spa day or a big holiday that you're so run ragged for. The one day is not going to undo all of that. By being part of a community of other people doing similar things, you can share ideas. They understand what you're doing, how you're approaching things. You get tips. We were just talking about the way you're streaming this, and it almost means I don't have to go off and research everything from scratch. Yeah. And it gives me a network that's wider than my immediate part of the world. So I live in Nottingham. I've done an awful lot of in-person networking in Nottingham and built my reputation up that way. But by being part of Creativity Fan Collective, I'm connecting with people all over the country, which then can lead to other opportunities. It's widening who's seeing me on LinkedIn, on social media. And there's a lot of cheerleading in the creative community, I think. Everyone wants each other to do well and to help each other rather than it being a competition, which is a really nice thing. So it's really good just to meet other people doing similar things. Just don't worry about not being good at whatever creative thing you're having a go at. You don't have to be good at it. You just need to play.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people who try all sorts of different crafts before they find the ones that's for them. A friend of mine did all sorts, and then she did crochet, and that was it, And so try different things. Go out and meet people at all the craft events that pop up and workshop. I do sip and stitch, I do mindful stitching. There's paint versions, there's clay versions, there's all sorts. Why not just go out and do something a bit different to meet people and do the creativity side as well? Because it's not as scary as just having to go and talk to someone without just staring at each other.